Obviously, I'm a Yankees fan, so I'd love to see him.
It's almost like legacy of like the NFL versus.
But I definitely think that Baker could be a really good player for the Panthers moving forward.
Did I say Oreos?
There's a lot of questions I have about Mahomes. Looks like a kid playing Madden.
Turning point in the game is the 13-second drive.
They play very hard, even though they're terrible.
He's a good pick. You for sure. He's going to be a good player. But I can't argue against the Ja'Marr Chase pick.
They made moves saying we're going to win this year, at least get into the playoffs.
I'm going with my guy, Corey Seager. So glad.
What's good, y'all? My name is Austin Drummond, and I play rugby for the University of Notre Dame. And you're listening to The Outsider's Opinion with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. And Austin, before we get into our reviewing, congrats on your win for the in-season predictions.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's not one of those core three predictions that we make for all four major sports, but still, I'll take it. And while the final was not as entertaining as Spurs Thunder, it still was a good game. Wemby was dealing with some stuff, so he didn't get to play for as long during the game. And it was interesting. Tyler Kolek played well, and the final really showed that the Knicks are something to be feared, but it still doesn't have that pop. And they showed outside the Madison Square Garden after the Knicks won, and it was basically just a barren wasteland. Like, nobody with the Knicks was really celebrating too hard. And that's true, because it's not the most important trophy of the year.
Yeah, it's not. I think it's more kind of what are you building with the team. And I think it's good for the Knicks because they are under a new coaching staff, and they demonstrated a lot of what they could do in the playoffs under Thibodeau. But now with Thibodeau gone, I think there was a question of what does this team look like? And these are pressure moments with kind of rallying back to beat the Spurs, who present a problem with Wemby. Yes, he didn't play too much, but he is coming back from an injury. But to me, this is good for New York and kind of showing what they are building. When I look at the stat sheet for him, you have Brunson being the second leading scorer with OG Anunoby having 28. Currently Towns, all starters were in double digits. And you also had two guys off the bench with Tyler Kolek bringing 14 and Clarkson bringing 15 points. So to me, this shows what the roster can do. And now it's kind of how do they build off this and kind of what they learned from this.
No team that has won the in-season tournament has gone on to win the finals. That is a fact that has been there so far. Now, can the Knicks change it? Sure, the East is extremely open, and this proves that they have a competitive team. But I still think this doesn't necessarily show what a 7-game series would be. Those series take a lot of different forms throughout every game, and the ability to adjust is extremely important. I think the Knicks have been the team that has struggled to do that. And whether Mike Brown or the staff or Jalen Brunson or anybody else can in the playoffs will be a telltale sign. But I do believe that this 83rd game is not necessarily the most important thing in the world. You get to play an extra game. Mikal Bridges, who plays in every game, now has to play in an extra game that doesn't even really count. So I think you find out a lot of stuff about your players, about whether or not you can compete and how they are going to play under pressure, under the bright lights, in a position to win something. And so that can give you some insight into the younger guys before a playoff series, like Tyler Kolek or Clarkson off the bench or some of these other guys. But I don't think it's the end-all, be-all. And even if you do bad in the in-season tournament, it doesn't mean you're not going to have a chance of going far come playoff time.
Yeah, and looking at it, kind of previewing matchups, when I look at the other matchups, yes, the Magic and Knicks could pop up in the East because it is wide open. But when I specifically look at the Spurs playing the Thunder and the Spurs beating the Thunder in a close game, Wemby playing 21 minutes, this is kind of what, yes, the Thunder are a beast with just kind of how they've built their team. But on the other side, you have a beast in Wembanyama of just what he can do for a team. And they're solid players. in this game against the Thunder, Stephon Castle had 22 points. Devin Vassell had 23 points. De'Aaron Fox had 22 points, while Wemby had 22. That's 4 players scoring 20 points and more in this game. So to me, kind of what that brings is important when you think about who could take down the Thunder in the West.
Yeah. And just being able to show you can compete against them, I think is important. Again, you have to show that, like a lot of people have joked online that the Thunder are like gods, and you have to show they can bleed, right? You have to show like Thanos almost. Like you have to show that they can bleed. And they did. And they're going to gain confidence if they meet up in the playoffs too. Like, hey, we can beat these guys. We already have in an environment that required winning. I think it's big for the young guys, especially Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and Victor Wembanyama. But also for those older guys to show, hey, guys, we got this. Whether that's Harrison Barnes, De'Aaron Fox, or some of the other guys. I think that the Spurs are in a good spot for the rest of the season. Now, getting Wemby 100% and making sure that everything's right with the rest of the roster is important. But they're in a spot to compete. And being 18-7 at this point in the season is very good.
Yeah, it's very good. And so that's kind of just reviewing the players, but let's also review our predictions that you won 4-2.
Yeah, so we had it to where, just like normal, it's 1 point for the first round, 2 points for the second round, 3 points for the third round, aka championship. I went perfect on the West before the title game. I had the Spurs beating the Lakers and the Thunder beating the Suns, and then the Thunder losing to the Spurs, and the Spurs going to the final. I got all 4 of my points on that side. But I had the Heat beating the Magic, and I had the Raptors beating the Knicks. Both of those didn't happen, and it doesn't matter, but I had the Heat beating the Raptors. And I had the Spurs winning the title, but the Spurs ended up losing. So I got 4 points.
Yeah, so with me, I was afraid I didn't get any right, but I got the Magic beating the Heat. I had the Raptors beating the Knicks. I had the Raptors beating the Magic. The Raptors advancing to the 83rd game. Then I had the Thunder beating the Suns, which I did get a point for. And then I had the Spurs beating the Lakers, which I guess is another point.
Oh, okay. So you have 3 points. Yeah.
3. Okay, so it's closer. But then I had the Thunder beating the Spurs, and then the Thunder beating the Raptors. So yeah, 4-3, Austin still wins.
Yeah, messed up the score, but at least we've messed up winners before, and I think it's a little bit more important. But you did cut it closer than we thought.
Yeah, closer than we thought. And yeah, I know we've done that in times where I'm like, oh wait, I got a point here, and then it changes the winner. But it does not this time. And Austin can raise the banner like the Knicks.
That's about how much I care about this this prediction win. So that's a good comparison.
Yep. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.